sports. It's Daybreak on the Rise News, and it's time for the press review. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive with analysis. First, our sister publication this day, leading with APC leaders in search of consensus candidate at convention to unite party. Buhari allegedly in agreement with decision. Mustafa Buhari Al-Makura top list. Party to grant waiver to intending defectors, including Jonathan. Above the masthead this morning, Malami, that's the Attorney General of the Federation for Nigeria and Minister of Justice, prima facie case now established against Kyari, may be extradited to the United States. Says sponsors of terrorism to be arraigned in court in weeks. Rubbishes Transparency International's report on Nigeria. Again, IMF urges Nigeria to increase VAT, value-added tax, remove fuel subsidy. And our final one this morning, promises can't replace agreements implementation, ASU tells Buhari.
A quick look at the Nation newspaper. Petrol panic in Lagos, Abuja. NATO threatens strike over cost. No scarcity of product. That's according to the Petroleum Corporation and NPC. And IMF calls for fiscal reforms, VAT raise, subsidy cuts. Forget president if there's no unity. The South River State Governor Nyesom Wike is warning his party, the PDP. The NFF appoints Amunike Eagles chief coach, and GTCO requires investment, one pension managers.
The Punch newspaper this morning, leading with a portal breakdown, the National Identity Management Commission's telcos meet again. Chinese, Nigerians battle faults. Subscribers remain stranded. The NIN verification problems affecting other agencies as downtime enters a 7th day. Meanwhile, Chinese Indian manufacturers join Galaxy Backbone in marathon repair sessions, and JAMB rules out postponement of the 2022 UTME registration deadline amid hitches. Now the leading picture in front of the Punch newspaper, Lagos filling station shut. Queues persist in Abuja and other states. Above the nameplate of the Punch this morning, ASU says we're set for indefinite strike. The federal government is dribbling us.
Here's the front page of The Guardian this morning. Fuel scarcity, panic buying in Lagos as NATO threatens strike. The National Association of Road Transport Owners, and of course the leading photograph from different filling stations and queues, as well as those buying into jerry cans. Well, let's take some other headlines on the front page of The Guardian. Federal government received 2 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine from EU as NCDC confirms 36 new infections. IPOB reaffirms April deadline for ban of cow meat in Southeast region. Marakafi Wike say Nigeria bleeding from APC misrule, seek United PDP for rescue. And finally, airlines seek review of 200,000 naira COVID-19 test protocol per traveler.
The international papers now. The I paper. Police rescue Keir Starmer from mob as PM faces crunch 48 hours.
And the Guardian newspaper. Angry MPs blame Boris Johnson's poison after anti-vaxxers set upon Starmer. Another headline on the Guardian UK. It's hard to see this and not think a war could happen. The picture there is the white Russian armor masses on the Ukrainian border. A volunteer defender in Kiev practices with a wooden gun.
Well, the Times is leading with the Prime Minister Boris Johnson writing for the paper this morning, saying he will not flinch over Ukraine.
And the Financial Times, ECB rate expectations force up Greek and Italian borrowing costs.
And for the press preview, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello, who joins us now from our offsite studio. Emmanuel, good morning. Good to have you. Now let's get right into it, beginning with one of the top headlines on this day and two issues that has been on the lips of everyone across the country. The Attorney General, Abubakar Malami, says a prima facie case has now been established against the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari. In that fraud case, he has been indicted by the U.S. government involving another internet fraudster, Ramon Abbas, popularly known as Hush Puppy. I'd like you to weigh in on that, and also another issue that Malami touched on, the issue of terrorism sponsorship. He says he's promising Nigerians that no names or associated facts will be held back. And also in a few weeks, names will be flying around, people will be charged to court, Emmanuel.
Well, yeah, those are the promises he's making when Nigerians charge that, look, why not name and shame, terrorist sponsors. He said, look, they will have their day in court. So he was just repeating what he said at the weekend, repeating it on that network interview he gave yesterday, and spoke about so many issues surrounding some of them, things he actually said in the past, some new insights, like the Hush Puppy Kyari angle seem to be the only thing that has shifted there is that he's now suggesting that there is a, on the face value of it, a case against Abba Kyari, and that he could be moved anytime to he can be extradited abroad. So, well, that seemed to be the only thing that has come out of that, because so many people have been wondering what's happening to the case, what's happened to the Hush Puppy angle with the Kyari, the super cop that was disgraced out of office. So he threw in a little bit more new light into that. He spoke about the Electoral Act itself, and many things that people really want to hear from him. But again, many questions still hanging out there, people wanting to know. For instance, it was not too clear how he was trying to frame the issue of the Electoral Act, saying that, look, if the president thinks that some of the clauses are going to be for selfish reasons, the president will send it back. I think that is going to generate some kind of debate today. Nobody is clear what he meant by that. Remember that it's this same Attorney General that was in the forefront of practically rejecting the reworked Electoral Act. Then at the time saying that the direct primaries thing was not favorable to people. He was asked point blank whether he actually believes in democracy, and he said, well, everything he's doing is to protect democracy. But there are people that will not agree with some of the, his submission, especially on this, because a lot of people think that the president should just sign this, and so that we can get this document out of the way, especially with the changes there. So yeah, and then of course, like you noted, the issue of terrorism. Why won't his office just, name people? But again, he's saying, look, nothing will be left unturned, that people should wait, and that names will be mentioned in court. I think it's going to be interesting that people see these names, critique these names, fact check on these names. Are these the people sponsoring terrorism? And what are we going to do with them? Because for long, Nigerians have wondered how terrorists got weapons, how they got, funded, how they get a lot of things to work with, in fact, sophisticated weapons and all of that, and then access to what looks like some kind of cover, even from, people paid to protect us. So this is a landmark case, and a lot of eyes will be on it. I think it's a story we must stay on as we watch it unfold.
I hope you didn't have to queue for petrol yesterday, or get stuck in the horrendous traffic somewhere in Abuja, where you are. For other people, it was in Lagos. I do hope you have petrol. But let's talk about that issue, because it's a recurring subject on the front pages of the national dailies today. On this day, it says as a result of the withdrawal of wrong fuel from circulation, that there is adulterated petrol in circulation, and they're trying to withdraw that, and that's why we have the queues back. On the front page of The Guardian, it's saying this is a result of the NATO, the Association of Resident Road Owners, threatening to go on strike. But whichever it is, Emmanuel, why do we have this coming back? Especially on a day the IMF is also urging the country to remove fuel subsidy. Did you ever see us coming back here? Fuel scarcity and long queues at petrol stations.
Well, we actually suspected that it was going to be earlier than this. Last year when we were discussing all the crisis of the fuel subsidy and its removal and all of that, first it was the fear that, the product would be available, but it would be very expensive at some 300 to 400 now with some people saying, look, let it be available at all, with the idea that, fuel subsidy will be removed and everything. So, but of course that didn't work. The government say it's going to be 18 months down the line before they actually contemplate. So you wonder why suddenly we're waking up to those long queues and that we hate to see. But of course, all the reasons are out there. There is the reason given that some bad kind of oiling or some wrong kind of products are in the markets and adulterated product in the market, so it's been withdrawn. Actually, one of the papers suggesting that I think it's the planned removal of the subsidy, marketers were actually already getting ready, to hoard fuel and also increase the prices and all of that. So with government suddenly changing its mind on that, they've not really recovered. So this is actually also what looks like some revenge, so payback on the Nigerian public, and it's amazing. That's why some people are actually also calling for arrest of anybody that is holding fuel. You want to agree with that when you look at the horrendous long lines and the suffering getting to offices and all of that. It's just tough on the country, and we don't need this drama. This is not what should be happening to a country that's a major exporter of this product, major producer of this product. So it's sad, and all over the country, this is the story. So it's amazing. It's not amazing that or surprising that it is in all the papers. It's the only thing Nigerians can actually talk about. You look outside your window or you walk on the street and you see black markets, those yellow jerry cans you hate to see everywhere. You have them all over the street. It's just a horrendous moment, just national outrage. Generally, everybody really angry at what is happening, and it's most ordinary buyers can't even understand some of the high level reasons that some experts try to give. The most important thing is that this product is not there, and it's like it's artificial, it's been hoarded, and in a serious country where there's serious leadership, you don't want to have this kind of thing continue. The NNPC is coming out to say there is no scarcity. Nobody seems to understand what it's saying, because right now the crisis is that people are not getting fuel to buy, the queues are there, the harrowing effect of it is being experienced by everyone getting to work or even just having the basic supply to do other things. It's actually a terrible situation out there.
Indeed, terrible, Emmanuel. And you talk of serious leadership. A couple of papers, the Tribune has the former Emir of Kano and former central bank governor, Emir Sanusi II, saying that Nigeria is living on extra time and we will be in deeper hole in 2023. Of course, this comes just as Desua mentioned, the IMF is calling for fiscal reforms. And my question, Emmanuel, how far is the government willing to go in sacrificing a greater good on the altar of political expediency? Now, this is noting that the Emir is saying, the former Emir rather, is saying that leaders need to take difficult decisions.
And it's right. Leaders need to take difficult decisions, and the Emir has a lot to say. In one other report, he was asking preachers not to, monetize prayers and 23. I think the search for everybody would be that of good governance, and he's very right that look, we have real problems, and we need people to take very serious decisions, and we need serious people too to be able to do that. The flippancy you've seen around government cycle, or the unseriousness, or sometimes even what looks like a discool attitude that you see with government officials. Well, the country cannot afford that. The IMF is warning. Everybody is warning. We are on the brink. So something needs to be done, and I guess the only way to do it is actually to this search that has begun, the search for serious leadership. The APC, for instance, actually even talking about a credible candidate for its chairmanship, its national chairman. It's the kind of serious talk that you'll be having everywhere. Wike in another report saying that look, the PDP needs to come together, or else they should just forget the presidency. So beyond just thinking of grabbing power, I think politicians should start thinking of actually the kind of serious problem we are faced with. The fact that the monies will not always be there there. The fact that someday these governors will come here and then probably there will be nothing to take home. It's already, the signs are there. So unless we wake up from this whole thing that we're in and we think that it's all blissful, we will continue to have these problems. So yes, those calls are very eminent by the Emir. I think there should be more calls like that, that look, we need to start thinking of serious leadership. Elsewhere in the world, all over the world, people are thinking of serious governance and serious leadership. That is the kind of leadership everywhere everyone is thinking about and talking about. We need to have some of that kind of seriousness out here too.
Yes, Emmanuel, thank you so much for your analysis this morning.